out of all the stuff you've done, endurance included, or like solitary, 6 months in jail, like losing loved ones, like what do you think is the hardest thing? Can you pin it to one thing, like the absolute hardest thing that you've gone through? It's a big question, but
I think one of the, like, mentally, the hardest thing I've ever gone through was solitary. Getting in a fight, getting thrown in solitary, that freaking sucked, man. Just you're completely cut off from any human interaction. You get to come out twice a week for 15 minutes, So that's like take a shower, but you're in like an 8x5 or 10x5 cell, and you just walk back and forth, or read a book, do push-ups on the sink. Like that's basically all you can do.
no windows,
no
sense of time.
Nope. You have no idea. You can hit the button and ask the guard, like, "Hey, what time is it? What day is it? Whatever." But yeah, that's it. But that's mentally, that's the toughest thing.
Yeah.
I think emotionally, man, losing my dad, that's definitely the toughest thing. I think anytime you lose a parent or whatever, somebody that's been so important to you your entire life, like navigating that, like that was tough, man. Obviously I didn't do it in a healthy way, but that gave me just data, experience of like how not to do it, but also too, like that suffering that I went through also taught me so many lessons, like that gratitude and keeping things in perspective, reaching out for help, raising your hand and sharing your story, being vulnerable, all those things I never would have learned without like going through that pain and stuff.
Would you do this whole journey over again if you had the chance? Like if somebody came up to you and was like, "Hey, if you want to go back in time 20 years and relive it all, would you do it? Or would you change anything? Or would you, maybe that's two different questions.
Well, I think a lot of times people say, well, I wouldn't ever change a thing. Everything I experienced helped me become the person that I am. But, the things that I did to my dad is just, yeah, if I could go back and change that, I would.
Yeah.
Just how I broke his heart, But again, like it helps me to, like I said, have the things that I have, the perspective that I do today. So I don't know, man.
It's a hard question.
It is a hard question.
I don't know if there's a right answer to it.
I don't think there is.
Yeah. And that's maybe the best part about life.
Yeah.
You can only keep moving forward.
That's it.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. Did the Ironman.
Yep.
No training.
No training.
6 hours or under 6 hours.
Yep.
Where do we go from there?
Well, we go through divorce after that.
Probably for the better, it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, it led me to this lovely woman over here, but
wasn't that it was one of the like famous like serial killers. I think it was maybe like Ted Bundy, not related you to him or any of these guys, but one of them had like why maybe it was Charles Manson, or one of them had like wives. Like all these girls were like obsessed with him while they were in
that's
jail.
Manson.
Yeah.
That's Manson.
He had like all these girlfriends, and I think he might have married one of them or something while he was in prison. I'm like, there's gotta be something off.
Then there's Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. He had a woman.
That's so interesting. Anyways, yeah. I'm not correlating.
We can talk about. I used to be obsessed with serial killers.
I mean, it's so fascinating.
It is fascinating.
People are capable of that.
Yeah.
And the documentaries and all the movies they've done are so good.
Yeah.
Scary, but good. Yeah. Damn. Okay. Divorce.
Yeah. So on the way back from Ironman, I'm making a Facebook Live, and I would tag everybody. I was one of those people. Like I tagged 99 people. And I'm making this Facebook Live, and I'm like shouting out all my friends back home that I was in recovery with. And Caitlin, my wife now, happened to be one of those people that I was shouting out. I was just like thanking everybody for their support and cheering me on and stuff. And I remember ending that Facebook Live, and my wife at the time, she just like it flipped a switch, man. And she just like went into this rage and started cussing me out. And like, why the F are you giving those, like, why are you giving them a shout out? And so we get in this huge fight, and I've got my nieces in the back seat. And she's like, if I had a knife right now, I'd effing stab you.
Whoa.
And I'm like, thinking to myself, what am I getting myself into? So I think about this on the way back home from Wilmington. The girls, the nieces, they were scared. We pull up to my mom's house. I get all my stuff out. We're dropping my nieces off. I get all my stuff out and step out, and I'm like, I'm leaving. Or she asked me, she's like, where are you going? I said, I'm staying here at my mom's. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to be in this type of marriage. And I just didn't need it. Like very early on in my recovery, like I didn't need that type of, I don't know, just toxicity, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's it, man. I basically, like, she kept trying to get me to come back home and everything, but I set a boundary, and I was like, no, I'm not happy. And plus, this is already toxic, like out the gate. And honestly, I remember in that moment, I was thinking about going to use again. And I'm like, if this relationship is making me think of this,
Jeez.
I got to step back. And so split up. This was October 2017 or whatever. And lived with my mom for several months until she can find a place and move out of the house. And going to substance abuse treatment classes, going to NA meetings and stuff like that, and church, and just trying to stay involved and spiritually strong, and everything was really important to me. And early in 2018, about 3 or 4 months later, Caitlin and I, like, we become close friends. And she was just like a friend that I could call. Like, I was dating other girls around this time, like just going out and hanging out and stuff. And honestly, I think some of my womanizing ways were still there. But I would call Caitlin, and I would just tell her, like, hey, I'm going out with so-and-so. And she'd like, she's probably wondering, like, why are you telling me this stuff? So anyways, I'm going out with, different girls and stuff. And this goes on for a couple months or whatever. And then Caitlin and I, like, we start getting closer, just talking all the time. She was very outspoken. Like, she was a leader. I always noticed that. And I was drawn to that. I was attracted to that. And we spoke at a recovery rally when I first got out of jail, recovery rally. And I just noticed that about her. I was like, man, that's sexy. That's attractive. And so she's back there red-faced. About, I think it was February, late January, early February of 2018, I invited her to come down just to hang out. And I'd been asking her to come down for a minute now, and she never would. She's like, no, I know you. I'm not freaking coming down there. Like, I know what you're up to. So finally she comes down, and we start talking around that time. And like I said, it was just kind of casual, And the agreement was that we could date other people. We'd hang out, whatever, date other people. So one night, I'll go out on a date with somebody else, and she's blowing my phone up, like wondering where I'm at, and I'm like messaging her. I told her I was on a date, and she was like, all right, that ultimatum, like, I'm giving you an ultimatum now, like, we're going to talk, or like, it's going to be monogamous, or I'm not in this anymore. And so we start dating around that time and everything.
Nice.
And I remember going to pick her up for our first date. She was living with her mom. Caitlin's in recovery as well. Got an amazing story. But she's living with her mom because she'd been on house arrest. She got, done some prison time. That was part of her sentence, to be on house arrest. So anyways, I go up to pick her up for a date. I start telling her mom about this story of overdosing. And her mom just like starts crying. And she's like, you know who saved your life? And I was like, no. She's like, that was me. So like 3 years had gone by, and I start telling her that story. And so
you had no idea who it was until then.
No.
Damn. That's wild.
That is wild.
That's some like synchronicity right there.
It is, man.
That's crazy.
It is. Serendipity.
Yeah.
it's things working together, man.
Damn, the universe is weird, man.
It is. So, when I was locked up in jail, though, my introduction to running, reintroduction to running kind of happens around this time. Locked up in jail, and my tribe does something called the Remember the Removal bike ride. And they do it in partnership with Cherokee Nation, which is another band of Cherokees out in Oklahoma. So there's 3 bands of Cherokees, just to educate everybody real quick. You've got the United Kadua Band, Cherokee Nation, and Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. United Kadua Band and Cherokee Nation are located in Oklahoma. Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, who we're enrolled with, is located in Cherokee, North Carolina. So we partner with Cherokee Nation, and back in 2011, they restarted. Like, we started joining this bike ride. Cherokee Nation's, I've done it since the 80s. But it's like it's an honor to get selected to do this bike ride. And they start from New Echota, Georgia, and they ride the northern route of the Trail of Tears. So 1,000 miles on bikes. And, it's just a way to kind of immerse yourself in the struggle that our people went through.
Yeah, if people don't know what Trail of Tears is, tell us.
So it is, the government took the land from the 5 civilized tribes in the southeast. You got the Seminole, Creek, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Cherokee. Took all of our land, relocated us to Indian Territory in Oklahoma. And so this has happened. It's happened in 1837. So this is a way for us to remember and honor our ancestors, right? And like I said, it's a huge honor if you get selected. It's a very drawn out process. And
because they basically when they relocated them, they basically marched them across the country, right?
Marched them, put them in different forts, and held them there. A bunch of people died. Yeah. Thousands and thousands of people died. And just uprooted us, and tried to kill us off. And so took our language, took our culture, said, being Native American, being indigenous was bad. And savages. Oh, I don't have my shirt on. Anyhow, so I see this.
I want to talk about all this stuff later as we get further down. They're like Native American stuff because it's so fascinating. But anyways,
I will try to articulate it best I can.
Okay.
So I see this paper while I'm locked up of the group that gets selected, and back in 2017. And I think to myself, when I get out of here, I want to sign up for that. Like, I want to be the first person in recovery to go out and complete that ride, and just to inspire other people and share my story. So I get out and do the Ironman, and then that's my next goal, to sign up for the RTR ride. And I go to sign up, get the application, and start filling it out. And I see that if you have a felony conviction on your record, you can't do it. You're disqualified automatically. Cherokee Nation's the one that set the rules because they're the one that started the ride. I didn't know that, but I go to council, our tribal leadership. It's a closed circuit, TV thing that's shown on the tribe, or shown on the Kallup boundary when it happens. So I go to this council, and we've got all of our tribal leadership, council members, vice chief, and I'm advocating for this rule change. And they're like, well, we didn't make the rules. We can't do anything about it. And I was standing in front of everybody, in front of my community, on TV. And I was like, well, if you're not going to let me ride the bike, I'll run to Oklahoma. And man, honestly, I don't even know where it came from. I think it's a little ego, whatever. And I was mad too. I was angry because I'm I'm trying to change my life, and they won't give me an opportunity. But it's just God closing that door, man, and just directing my path. I wouldn't have discovered running probably if that hadn't happened. And so that's November 2017. I say that, and I'm like, oh crap. Now I gotta, it's just where the rubber meets the road. It's time to put in the work. And so I start running. So I retire the bike, and I start running everywhere. I've run to town, running to my substance abuse, all the things I got to do. I was running everywhere.
Oh my gosh!
Start training for this, And mind you, like I'm a lot heavier than I am now. I was probably like 30 pounds heavier then, you know, and
this is 2018.
Yeah, early 2018. I got a gut, some love handles, like drinking Red Bulls like 2 or 3 Red Bulls a day. Just like I have no idea about like taking care of yourself or anything. Like I'm just like so early into this thing, and I start training for this, and I start doing races. I remember doing my first marathon in January of 2018 in prep for this. I ran 5 hours and 25 minutes. Not because I was probably in a lot better shape than that from the Ironman.
Yeah.
But I had no idea about nutrition, bonking, all that stuff. Like, just crushed me. The distance crushed me.
What's your current PR is like 240? So you went from 525 to 240.
Was my debut marathon.
Dude. Do you talk? I feel like I don't hear you talk about that.
I don't talk about it
Dude, you
much.
should. Dude, I could see it like Instagram posts, like side by side.
Yeah.
Marathon 1, marathon
7. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
I was running basketball shorts and like a tri-top, a zip-up top. That's what I went out there in. And then I did a 50K the next month in Davidson, North Carolina. And it was like 5-6 mile, 10K loops. And, bro, I was crushed. I remember finished the 3rd loop. I came through and I was like feeling good, you know. Like, again, I had no idea what I was doing. But Caitlin was out there with me, and come through the 3rd loop, and I was like starting to hit that wall, you know, starting to bonk. And I started gutting it out, the 4th and 5th loop. By the 5th loop, I was like, I'm ready to quit. I called my mom and everything, and I was like, my mom was like, don't you quit. Caitlin's, she's not even running at the time. She's like 50, 60 pounds heavier than she is now. She's out in blue jeans and like Converse or something, and she's like, I want to walk it with you. So we walked the entire 5th loop. I was dead last. They were putting everything up. The last person to finish overall. And God, I remember being so destroyed from that. You know, they think back for our 50K yesterday, and I'm like,
we're fine.
Yeah, fresh as a daisy today. And
that's crazy.
So I continued to train, man, and May 14th, 2018. A lot of those same council members that scoffed at me, laughed at me, were there to see me off. And I started from Gadua Mound, which is our mother town in Cherokee. Started from there, and I started running towards Fort Payne, Alabama. And that was like the official start point for the Bend route. I wasn't doing the north route. I was wanting to do something different. There's several routes. So I chose the Bend route, and I ran a couple 100 miles, and then ended up driving a little ways to Fort Payne, and then I officially started from there.
Dang. So how many miles total was the whole thing?
I ended up running 800 miles in 40 days.
Jeez.
Yeah. Which is not, I mean, thinking back, like,
what is that, like 20 miles a day? Yeah.
Thinking back, like, of who I am today and the type of runner I am today, like, but I was so early on into this, and I had no idea what I was doing.
I mean, 20 miles a day, like, that's not easy.
No.
I mean, just
especially for
50 days straight. I mean, and if you're never done anything like that, yeah. Dang. Did you have like a job at that point, or how did you just get like 2 months off to just go? I
wasn't working. I had no work history basically. Like I was basically unemployable. But
did you just like stay in a hotel each night, like wherever you were at, or
we stayed in hotels.
Sleep in a car or something?
Yeah, my mom was very supportive throughout that. Like monetarily, she was helping me do that, and we're raising money for our nonprofit, so money was going to that too. But Caitlin helped out. You know, per cap we get 2 distributions from our per cap twice a year, like June 1st and December 1st. So I was using that money to kind of fuel.
That doesn't come from the government though, like the U.S. government.
No,
right?
It comes from the tribe.
Okay, where does that money come from? Like
casino.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, because it's not technically a reservation, right?
Right.
Because other reservations, they just get like a check from the government, right?
No.
Oh, I thought they did.
Mm-mm.
I thought they get like, it's like something tiny. I thought like $500 or something. They don't get anything from the government.
No.
Oh, I thought they did.
No.
Damn.
But
I thought that was like part of the whole deal with like
reparations.
Yeah, I thought that was part of it.
No.
Jeez.
We can send how many billion to Ukraine?
Yeah. Give it all to them.
Yeah, I'm not even going to
Shit.
go into that, but
Interesting. So any money that reservations get like that.
it's tribal. It's from
Oh.
their different revenue resources.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was the government that would send them like a tiny bit.
No.
Fucking you guys.
The government says you can own casinos.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's we'll let you do that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Even our land is still technically.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They could be just take it away.
Really?
But anyways,
Even though Cherokee's paid for it at one point,
yeah.
it's not like full. It's like are they like leasing it basically in some way? It's like
I wish that I knew all the details
That's
of
so
this.
weird.
Yeah.
that's so stupid. It's so dumb. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Have you read Empire of the Summer Moon?
I've got it on my shelf, man. I hear people talk about it all the time.
That's about the Comanches.
Yeah.
Dude. Like Austin was a big like area they were in. Like a lot of like North Texas, like Dallas, a lot in Oklahoma, but they came all the way down to like Austin. I think they were like so nomadic.
Mm-hmm.
They were from all the way from like I think Mexico almost to like Wyoming or something. It's crazy. Those
I
guys,
need to check it out.
Yeah, the
I've
Comanches.
been
were-
meaning to read it, man.
Dude, it's so good.
They're ruthless, weren't they?
Dude, they were like freaking like warriors.
Yeah.
Because they were like this small, like really mobile, nomadic, like army basically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a sick book. It's cool, but dude, it's so sad because it talks about all the like treaties that were broken.
None of them's been honored.
It was I can't remember the number. It was like 800
Yeah.
treaties that were like promised. Like, oh, you guys go do this, and we'll do this in return.
Uh-huh.
The Indians, Native Americans would follow through with their end, and then the government was like, "Nah, we're good." Nah,
It's like that all across the board.
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad. But I guess before we go too far down that rabbit hole, so you did Trail of Tears,
Finished on my birthday.
on your birthday.
Yeah.
Was that intentional?
It was. It was.
And then, what other? I know you've done 100 milers.
Mm-hmm.
You did the 240 marathon.
Yep.
What other?
I've done 50 milers. So like before we go into that, I want to share a little bit about that Trail of Tears.
Yeah.
So I was running through Tennessee, and we started getting regional news coverage of my journey.
Oh, nice.
Knoxville, Chattanooga, a couple other places giving us news spots or whatever. And so a woman who found me on Facebook from Texas messages me and says, "Hey, I want to share something with you." So she ends up calling me through Messenger, and she was like, "I don't know what this means, but I felt like God said I needed to share it with you, so here it is." And so she's like, "I had this vision of you running, and you've got these huge chains across your neck and your shoulders, and I like weighing you down and pulling you back." She says, "As you're running, as you're taking a step, these chain links are falling off." So I was like, "All right, cool. I don't know. That doesn't mean anything to me in the moment." And so a couple of days goes by. My aunt passes away at the time from endocarditis, complications from her drug use. So my mom has to go back and bury my aunt. And that was like one of the first big adversities that I'd faced in early recovery. And like, how do I handle this? And so I like running had given me so much purpose, and I had this goal that I was trying to achieve and this mission that I was trying to accomplish. Like that helped me stay the course. And so shortly after my mom went home, Caitlin's out there with me as my support crew, and we would drive. She would drive like 3 miles. I'd run, we'd do that all day. 3 miles, fuel up, hydrate. She'd keep going. So she's out running one day. She's getting ready to start she's just like dipping her toe in the water, her running journey. She's out running one day, and she's like, realizes that I got to get back to the truck. Hope's going to be here in a few minutes. So she turns around. At the spot that she's turning around, there's a chain link laying there. So, all right, cool. Coincidence. She keeps it. A few days later, it goes by. My mom comes back out. I'm running 49 miles in honor of my aunt for every year she lived. We're at like mile 47. It's 10:30 at night. It's late. We stop, pull over, get something to eat, something to drink, and we're going to do our last 2 mile push. And Caitlin like screams and steps back, and I was like, I'm thinking it's a rattlesnake or something, And we looked down, and right where we parked, man, there's a chain link. Now, mind you, like every day that I'm running, there's no chain links that I'm seeing. It's at these like profound moments that we're experiencing that they show up. So I'm running through, fast forward another week or so, I'm running through Osage, Arkansas. And I'm listening to Conway Twitty. That's my job. You ever heard that song? Are you a Conway Twitty fan?
I don't know Conway Twitty.
About to turn you on to some Conway.
Is it country or what is it?
He was a rock and roll artist too, but he was
I've
he
heard
crossed
the name.
Yeah,
I'm
Conway was
sure
the man.
I've heard some of it.
I'm sure you
just
have.
didn't know.
I'm sure you have. So anyways, like my dad and I used to listen to this song together all the time. So I'm running up the road, and I look over to the side, and there's a sign that says McCoy's Garage. And I'm like thinking about my dad. Here's McCoy's Garage. I'm like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. So I stop and I take a selfie with McCoy's Garage in the background. And right where I stopped, Jeremy, I look down and there's a chain link right at my legs. And I'm like, all right, this is just, one of those moments where, like I said, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And God's giving me these signs like, keep going, And so we run into Tahlequah, Oklahoma, finished the Trail of Tears run on June 28th on my birthday. And I had a lot of the council members, leadership from Oklahoma and Cherokee fly out to see me finish this thing. And, man, it was an incredible moment, One of the cool things, too, is like my mom and my grandma all shared the same birthday. Like all of our birthdays on June 28th. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. 3 generations on one day.
Dang.
So it was cool to share that moment.
A lot of
with my mom.
synchronicity happening.
It is. So that's kind of how I felt running again, man.
So did you do the chain thing? Did you like get the is it? So the lady was just like envisioning it, right?
Yeah.
She didn't want you to like take a video or photo or anything.
Oh,
I thought there were gonna be like some epic video of you like running with like chains.
No.
Around your neck. You should have done that.
I know, right? That would have been good.
Did you keep all the chains?
We've got 2 of them. That's
cool.
at the house.
What do you think they represent? Like why?
I think just breaking out of that old lifestyle, and then just where they were when we seen them. Like you say, synchronicity. Just those moments where I feel like the universe, God, Creator is talking to me, like you're right where you're supposed to be. Keep going. Yeah. That's how I look at it.
I like that. That's cool, dude. God, dude, you got such a wild story. So you've done so many different things.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oh my gosh. Was your first 100-mile race the next thing after that?
No. I got into some 50 milers. Started getting into ultras first before I got into marathoning, and started doing some ultra trail marathons. Georgia Jewel. I went to my first attempt at Georgia Jewel. We stayed up all night, or not all night. We stayed up for a fourth quarter type thing for our football team afterwards. And we had a bunch of inflatables and stuff. So we were out all evening or all that late that night putting those things up. And I had to go run the race the next morning. So I got like 2 hours of sleep. Had to drive 3 hours to get down to the race. And ended up falling asleep at mile 47 and DNFing in my first attempt at a 50 miler.
Dang, 3 miles from the finish line.
3 miles. It was called Power Lines Aid Station. And that's at mile 47. So it was right before there. I was on a ridge top and I fell asleep. And I got to Power Lines Aid Station. Oh no! And they're like, "You're 5 minutes late." I missed the cutoff.
That sucks.
I was like, I don't even care. Just put me in a car, get me out of here. I'm ready to go to sleep. Yeah, I was so destroyed. She had to put me in a luggage cart and wheel me to the hotel room.
Oh my gosh.
And so we done Georgia Jewel a couple of times, didn't we? And I went back the next year, finished a 50 miler. COVID happened, and I think we did the calendar club challenge, like whatever date it is, that's how many miles you run.
Yeah.
We did that in May, and I finished that. So ended up running 400 or 500 something miles in the month of May.
Dude, that's
no days off.
When you're just like thinking about that challenge, it doesn't seem that crazy. It's like, oh, you max out at 31 miles. That's not bad.
It's not crazy until you get in those mid-20s, 30.
27, 28,
Yeah.
29. I have one crazy idea I want to do someday is do that, but like keep going
Yeah.
until you can't anymore. I feel like realistically, you can maybe get to like 50,
Yeah.
60 miles, but it's like if you're doing like 49 miles one day and then 50 the next day. I don't know. You'd have to kind of just like quit everything you're doing and just do that. But
Basically like the Transcon run.
pretty much. It's like a full commitment for a couple months. But
Yeah.
dang. Yeah, I've always wanted to do the calendar run one.
Yeah. It was fun.
Dang.
It was fun.
And then
So I got employed around that time. First job I had in recovery, started working at a homeless shelter, which gave me a lot of purpose, and being able to get back and everything was really important. And they took a chance on me, man, and I'm so thankful for that. So started working there in 2018, and we actually biked the Pacific Coast Highway in 2019. Ended up biking like close to 1,000 miles. We drove some, but we biked most of it.
from Mexico up to Canada? Or
Canada to Mexico.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I've driven a lot of it. That's such a sick
It
road.
is, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And at the end of that journey, I was coming through Malibu, and I remember Khalil
Oh yeah.
shop being there, Sun Life Organics, and I messaged him on Instagram, shared just a little bit of my story, and told him how his book helped change my life. And he was like, "I happen to be at the shop. Come by and meet me." So we got to meet Khalil, hang out with him. He gave us a bunch of free bowls and smoothies and everything,
Oh, sick.
which is it's expensive. So I was
Yeah.
like very thankful for that.
That's awesome.
But it was cool getting to meet him and shake his hand and let him know, like, I read your book in jail like a couple years ago, and here I am meeting you.
yeah, that
today.
had to have been surreal.
It was cool.